Hello and welcome to the Triple B Podcast, Business Branding and Boudoir with Anna Johnson.
Hey you guys, this is me, Anna, your host, and I am here with Devon.
Hello.
And we are just going to talk a little bit about Devon and what she does. So go ahead and tell me. I know that you are like a sex coach, as well as you do a few other things. So tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited. To give you a little bit of a rundown of how I got to where I am now, it started with just kind of a personal journey of being really inspired and drawn to the fitness space. And so I started as a personal trainer, and in that field, and even before that, I suffered from an eating disorder and body dysmorphic beliefs. And as a trainer, I had realized how many other women struggled with that. And so as I gravitated more toward the online space, I kind of wanted to take a twist on my coaching and gear it more towards body confidence, because that's why most women sign up to work with a personal trainer, is to achieve confidence.
Yeah.
And they try to achieve it externally by changing their body. And so I wanted to create a coaching program that would help women create self-care rituals and to come at it from an angle of doing things to respect their body instead of doing it because they hate their body. And aside from creating, participating in movement on a regular basis and making sure that you're eating nourishing foods and not using these things as coping mechanisms, there's the other component of really diving into the mindset stuff and digging into the roots of why you feel you have to look a certain way or be smaller size, and change the way that you look in order to feel happy. And so inside my coaching, we really dive into all of the internal aspects. And then last year, I decided that I wanted to bring in something else that I was really excited about talking, which is sex. And so I decided to incorporate yes. So I decided to create the Sex with the Lights On course, which is completely free, and it's just an entire guide on how to feel more comfortable in the bedroom, because we have the body confidence space, we have the fitness space, and then we have sex. So I wanted to kind of incorporate it all into one and help women achieve confidence in the bedroom, because most of the time women don't want to have sex or feel uncomfortable having sex because of their bodies. And so I wanted to add that component into the sexual space. So
I love that.
When it comes to sex, I more so talk about body confidence and not so much. I would like to move there eventually, but right now it's just focused on feeling good in your skin and feeling comfortable and confident and being able to vocalize like what you need in the bedroom.
I think that that's awesome. I think it's so important. Like, one of the things for myself as a boudoir photographer that really helped me was when I had my own boudoir session. And I remember, like, I wasn't as nervous to have the photos taken because obviously I've been doing this, but it was more of just feeling comfortable in the bedroom. And when I saw the photos, like, I realized, oh my gosh, like, my oohs and ahs and my sexy faces are actually sexy. Like, I look good.
Yeah.
And I was like, for a long time, like, every time I would have sex, I'd get in my own head and I would be like, oh my gosh, like, he's looking at my butt and he's thinking this and he's thinking that. And honestly, like, you guys, they don't think anything except this feels good. Like, they're not thinking about like what you think they're thinking about.
We judge ourselves more than anybody else.
Right.
And usually our judgment, we think that people are judging us based off what we're judging in ourselves, and it's just a projection.
Exactly. And so that is like, when I started doing boudoir, that was one thing that I really appreciated about a session that I had, and something that I love about what I see, knowing that women are probably having the same experience in gaining confidence. One of the things I really loved the other day was I saw a post that you made, and it was talking about how people are always saying, well, Jess, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself, and how it's not that easy just to be like, oh, hey, okay, I learned to love myself. So go ahead and just kind of touch a little bit more on like that, because I think what you had mentioned in the post was just really awesome and inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that the self-love space and the body positivity space are beautiful and like important movements, but I think that there is some flaws in what people promote, because when you were a little girl. It can start there, where you just don't like yourself and you start to take on all the conditioning from our society. It really takes you away from loving yourself and appreciating yourself. And so you've spent years hating yourself.
Right.
And so this idea that you're just going to look in the mirror by repeating an affirmation and love yourself is damaging, because often what happens when a woman looks in the mirror and says, I love myself, and doesn't feel it, it makes her feel worse, because she's like, oh, why am I not loving myself and everybody else can do this by repeating an affirmation. And aside from that, telling someone to just love themselves or love their stretch marks because they're tiger stripes is slathering this overly simplistic quote on a deeply rooted issue. And so it takes a lot of time to learn to unprogram and unlearn all of the things that we have been conditioned to believe about ourselves and our bodies.
Yeah.
And so it does take time, and it does take unpacking and actually digging deep into, why do you feel this way? Where does that come from? And asking like really hard questions, and that often make you want to cry.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, it can be hard to, reprogram and retrain your mind. And so I think it's really important that we let people know that, one, it's not your fault that you feel that way. It is your responsibility to make those changes and to work through those things to get to the place of self-love, and then to understand that it takes time and to give yourself plenty of it. And as you move through that process, one day you're going to be like inflamed with love, and then the next day you're like, fuck, I don't like myself today. And to give yourself compassion on those days. To be like, okay, like, I'm feeling a little bit of self-hatred today. Like, how can I give myself some ease as I navigate these feelings?
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Yeah, I think that, like, when I listened to it, I was like, oh my gosh, this summarizes, like, what I do. Because, like, so many boudoir photographers, their message is, love yourself, and, this is empowering and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's great, but... and I think that that's wonderful. Like, they all have their own messages. For me, my message is learning to just be, and learning to have an ego within yourself, whether that be that you are super fit, whether that be that you have stretch marks, or that you're overweight, or whatever it is. Gaining that confidence and learning to say, okay, I'm going to be here. And it doesn't mean that you are sitting there going, okay, I have no goals. But it's more of like, hey, you know what? I can have these fitness goals, but I'm going to be okay with where I'm at while I'm on my way to reach them. I can have, these goals, whether it be to gain weight or lose weight. But ultimately, if I believe that if you haven't reached that place of saying, hey, I'm okay with this, and I'm okay with the crap that I've gone through, I'm okay with the good things I've gone through, I'm okay with all of it, then when you reach a final goal and you reach that spot, if you haven't become okay with it, you're still not going to be okay with it. And so that's where, like, for me, helping women in my company is just learning to have that ego within yourself. And I know ego's usually looked at as like, oh, that's bad, don't want to have an ego. But I'm like, you know what? No, you should. It can
be beneficial in a lot of ways.
And you should own it. And I think that it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I'm amazing. I might not be the best that I can be. I might have like these goals, but I know I'm amazing where I'm at now. I appreciate what I've gone through, and I appreciate where it's brought me. And it has been hard. It has been tough. There's been days that I've cried. There's been days that I've wanted to scream. But I appreciate those days because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without those days. Or even if you're in those moments and you're feeling like hopeless, of saying, you know what? At some point I'm going to get out of these moments. And I can appreciate what's going on. Not that I'm not going to like it, or not that you're going to be like, oh, this is so amazing, I'm down in the dumps, but that you can say, hey, I appreciate this, and I'm gonna be better. Right. And really just striving for that. Really just kind of saying, hey, you know what, I'm gonna step it up. Like, I'm gonna constantly try to better myself and just be better with who I am, but at the same time loving myself, or just learning to be where I'm at the same time. So when I was listening to your video, I was like, yes, I love this, because I hear so many people feel like it's like a quick little Band-Aid fix, and I'm like, look, learning to love everything that you've gone through and all the hurt and all the pain is not easy. And it's not even a boudoir section. It's not something that you walk out with and you're like, I am better, hallelujah, like I am cured. But it's something that, it's a process, like you were saying, and it takes a lot of rebuilding. And for me, like a boudoir session is kind of like a Band-Aid that you just put on it. It gives you the confidence, and yes, you can look at the pictures and go, I am amazing, I look amazing, and it helps you through each day. But it's a constant struggle each day that you have to constantly go through. And, you know, for me, I mean, I do boudoir sessions every year because each year I get more out of it, but I'm still working on my own stuff.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's a constant thing to continue to work on your own stuff. And it's not something like you've reached this point where you're like, I'm fabulous, I love myself, and everything's amazing. It should constantly be a work in progress.
It is. I was just having that conversation with a friend, and I think if we have this idea that at some point we're just going to reach the cherry on top and then nothing bad happens, we're going to be radically disappointed.
Right.
And with just loving yourself in general, I think another important aspect to it is understanding that you can accept things without loving them. You can be more neutral about it, because you don't have to love your stretch marks or your cellulite, but you can not have a story attached to it that tells you you're unworthy. And you can just be like, yeah, that's what bodies do, I guess.
Yeah,
and just be neutral about it.
I love that. I love that. Well, so tell me, if someone wants to come to you, are you offering coaching? What is it that you can offer them, and how can they find you, so that way these viewers can make sure that they find you too?
Yeah. So I have a couple of things. To start, I have the free course, Sex with the Lights On, which you can find in my Instagram bio. You can find almost anything on my Instagram bio, my website, the Sex with the Lights On guide, and then my obvious, like, Instagram's my main platform, which is Devon Day Moretti, and my website's Devon Day Moretti. And then if you download Sex with the Lights On, again, it's in my Instagram, but you could go to devondaymoretti.com/sexwiththelights-on. And again, that's an entirely free guide. There's about 5 to 6 tips on just how to feel more comfortable in your body and how to vocalize your needs in the bedroom. And then there's also some email sequences that get sent out after that, where I get super personal and vulnerable in some of those emails. And then I offer Empower Her Coaching, which is a program designed to help women feel empowered in their life and in their body and the choices that they make. And so there is the self-care aspect of diving into creating rituals around movement and nutrition and stress management and dealing with our emotions. And then there's the entire other aspect that we really focus on of just loving who you are and loving your body and working through all of our insecurities and the narratives that hold us back.
That's awesome. And now, is that like a fitness program that you're working with them as well as on the fitness aspect, or is that more of like a coaching through getting comfortable with yourself?
It's more so coaching and doing things on a daily basis that allow you to feel good. So there is a fitness component to it, and I do give a fitness program for those who, you know, want to be in the gym. But if my client is like, I like yoga better, then I'm like, do that instead. Yeah. It's all about just finding a movement that makes you feel empowered and inspired, and movement should be fun and playful, and there's a myriad of ways to move our bodies, and it doesn't have to be confined to a gym. So there is that, but you don't have to take that route. It's just a matter of finding what you enjoy.
Love that. All right, you guys, so go check out Devon Day Moretti and go have sex with the lights on.
Yeah.
So go get that. Enjoy Sex with the Lights On. Get her guide to Sex with the Lights On, and hopefully you're enjoying a lot of sex with lights on too.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Get to shoot.
Yay! Let's get to shooting.